What if I told you that in the next 72 hours, more than 60 million Americans could wake up to a winter nightmare unlike anything we have seen in years? A catastrophic storm is gathering strength right now, and the window to prepare is closing fast. Here is what you need to know immediately. This is not your typical winter weather event. We are looking at a multi-day assault that will stretch from the southern plains all the way to the Carolinas. Snow, ice, freezing rain, all hitting simultaneously across a region that spans more than 1,000 miles. And here is the shocking part. Some areas could see ice accumulations of half an inch or more. That is enough to snap power lines like toothpicks and turn highways into ice skating rinks. But stay with me, because at the 30-second mark, I am going to share something crucial. The National Weather Service just issued updated models showing this storm has shifted in a way that caught even veteran meteorologists off guard. Keep watching. This information could save your life or the life of someone you love. Right now, as you are watching this, Arctic air is pouring down from Canada like water through a broken dam. Temperatures are already dropping 15 to 25 degrees below normal across the central states. By Friday afternoon, Oklahoma will be the first to feel the storm's fury. Light snow will begin falling, but do not let that fool you. This is just the opening act. Here is where it gets terrifying. Along the Red River, a deadly mix of sleet and freezing rain will begin accumulating. Why is this so dangerous? Because freezing rain is nature's perfect weapon. It clings to everything: power lines, tree branches, roads, building up layer after layer of solid ice. A quarter inch can cause problems. Half an inch creates catastrophic damage. And some models are showing 3/4 of an inch in certain areas. Now, you might be wondering, how is this even possible in late January? Great question, and the answer reveals something fascinating about our atmosphere. The atmosphere is about to perform an incredible balancing act. We have frigid air at the surface, temperatures in the teens and 20s, but several thousand feet up, warmer air is sliding in from the southwest. When snow falls through that warm layer, it melts. Then it falls back into the freezing air near the ground and instantly becomes ice. Let me paint you a picture of what Friday night into Saturday morning looks like. Dallas-Fort Worth, a metropolitan area of 7.6 million people, will be in the bullseye. This is the same region that just weeks ago was enjoying temperatures in the 60s and 70s. The flip is happening so fast that many people are not psychologically prepared for what is coming. By midnight Friday, the ice storm will be in full force. Streets that were busy with traffic just hours earlier will become impassable. Emergency services will struggle to respond. Hospitals will brace for an influx of injuries from falls and car accidents, and power companies will be watching their grids with growing concern. Here is a number that should wake everyone up. During the last major ice storm in this region back in 2014, some areas lost power for more than 2 weeks. 2 weeks without electricity and freezing temperatures. Families huddled together for warmth, elderly neighbors checking on each other, communities coming together in ways that remind us of our shared humanity and interdependence. But this storm has a twist that makes it even more dangerous. It is not a 12-hour event. It is not even a 24-hour event. Current models show this winter assault lasting 48 to 72 hours in some locations. Wave after wave of precipitation. Just when you think it is over, another surge of moisture rolls in. Saturday morning, the situation intensifies. Oklahoma City will be buried under heavy snow. 6 to 12 inches is possible, maybe more in some areas. Meanwhile, just 100 miles to the south, freezing rain will still be falling. This is the meteorological equivalent of a perfect storm, multiple dangerous weather types happening simultaneously across neighboring regions. Arkansas, you are not being forgotten. Little Rock sits right on the razor's edge. Models are showing a tight gradient between all snow to the north and all freezing rain to the south. Your city could go either way, and a shift of just 20 or 30 miles in the storm track will determine whether you get a foot of snow or a catastrophic ice event. Let me take you deeper into western Tennessee for a moment. Memphis, a city of 650,000 people, is staring down the barrel of a major winter storm. The latest European model run shows you right on the boundary. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, all mixing together in a dangerous cocktail. Interstate 40, one of America's most critical east-west transportation corridors, will likely shut down for days. Here is something fascinating that the models are showing. Saturday night into Sunday, there is a secondary surge of moisture. Imagine the storm is winding down, people are starting to relax, assessing damage, checking on neighbors, then boom, another round fires up. More ice, more snow, more danger. It is like a 1-2 punch that keeps communities reeling. Now, let me share what is happening at minute 3 that you absolutely need to understand. The National Weather Service probability maps just updated an hour before this recording. The entire state of South Carolina, every single county, shows high probability for freezing rain. Not just possible, not just likely, but high probability. When is the last time you saw that? Columbia, South Carolina, sits in the geographic center of this ice zone. Cities across Georgia, North Carolina, even into Southern Virginia are all in the danger zone. This is the kind of setup that meteorologists study in textbooks. Cold Arctic air damming up against the Appalachian Mountains, moisture overrunning from the southwest, temperatures hovering right at 32 degrees for days. Let me tell you why this matters so much to you and your family. Ice storms are not like snowstorms. With snow, you can shovel it, plow it, manage it. Ice is different. Ice is insidious. It builds up silently, adding weight to every surface. A large oak tree can accumulate several tons of ice during a major event. Those branches snap, taking down power lines. Roads become skating rinks where vehicles lose all traction. Across the impact zone, we are talking about 12 states potentially affected, from Texas to the Carolinas. Population centers including Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte. Tens of millions of people are in the path of this historic winter storm. Here is where preparation becomes critical. The wise see danger and take refuge, but the unprepared keep going and pay the penalty. This is not about living in fear. This is about using common sense and the technology we have available to make smart decisions that protect ourselves and our families. Let me show you exactly what the Storm-S timeline looks like, because timing is everything. Thursday night, the first Arctic blast arrives. Temperatures crash across the plains. Friday morning, clouds increase. Moisture begins streaming in from the southwest. Friday afternoon, precipitation breaks out across Oklahoma and northern Texas. By Friday evening, the ice storm is underway. Friday night into Saturday morning represents the worst period for the southern plains. Dallas, Fort Worth, Wichita Falls, all getting hammered. Roads will be impassable. Thousands of flights will be canceled. This is when power outages will begin in earnest. Saturday morning, the storm is still raging. Oklahoma buried in snow. Arkansas getting pounded with ice and snow. Louisiana seeing freezing rain in areas that rarely experience it. Saturday afternoon and evening, the eastern expansion begins. The storm system is massive, and it is spreading eastward like a slow-moving disaster. Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, all getting hit. Memphis looking at a potentially crippling ice and snow event. Saturday night, here comes that secondary surge I mentioned. Models show another batch of moisture rotating in, prolonging the event, adding more accumulation. Sunday morning, the southeast gets its turn. The Carolinas, Georgia, even into southern Virginia. Ice accumulating on trees that still have leaves in some areas. Sunday afternoon and evening, the storm finally begins to wind down across the western zones, but the southeast is still dealing with freezing rain. Some areas will see this last into Monday morning. Now, at the 5-minute mark, let me fulfill the promise I made at the beginning. Here is the critical information that could save lives. The National Weather Service moderate impact probability is showing extremely high percentages across the entire impact zone. We are not talking about 20 or 30% chances. We are looking at 70, 80, even 90% probabilities for moderate to major impacts. What does that mean in plain English? It means confidence is very high that this storm will deliver significant, disruptive winter weather. The kind that shuts down cities, closes schools for a week, causes widespread power outages, and creates dangerous travel conditions for days. Let me break down the cold air source, because understanding this helps you grasp why this storm is so serious. A massive trough, imagine a giant dip in the jet stream, is allowing Arctic air to plunge southward from central Canada. We are talking air that originated near the Arctic Circle. This is not your average winter cold snap. This is the real deal. High pressure building over the northern plains will reach 1054 millibars by Friday morning. That is extremely strong. This high pressure acts like a wall, blocking the Arctic air and keeping it locked in place across the southern states. At the same time, a low-pressure system is developing over Baja California. This is bringing Pacific moisture, lots of it. Here is where it gets meteorologically beautiful. That Baja low will get picked up by the trough and ejected eastward. All that moisture will ride up and over the Arctic air mass that is locked in place at the surface. When warm, moist air rises over cold air, you get precipitation. And when surface temperatures are below freezing, you get winter weather. The setup is textbook. Meteorologists call this overrunning. It is one of the most efficient precipitation makers in winter weather, and this event has overrunning on steroids. Days of moisture streaming over locked-in cold air. The result? Prolonged heavy winter precipitation across a massive area. Temperature anomalies are off the charts. We are seeing departures of 20 to 25 degrees below normal. Places that should be in the 40s and 50s will be in the teens and 20s. The cold is not just coming, it is already here, building, intensifying, setting the stage for this historic winter event. Now you might be thinking, how can we have a winter storm with ridging over the southern states? Great question. Remember, we do not live at 18,000 feet up where the ridge is located. We live at the surface. And at the surface, we have shallow, dense Arctic air. That cold air is heavier than warm air, so it hugs the ground. The warmer air aloft just rides over the top. This creates what meteorologists call a temperature inversion. Normally, air gets colder as you go higher, but in this setup, you have cold air at the surface, warmer air a few thousand feet up, then cold air again higher up. This inversion layer is what melts the snow, creating sleet and freezing rain instead of pure snow. Let me share something that happened during the last major ice storm in South Carolina back in February 2014. Communities that expected snow got devastating ice instead. Augusta, Georgia, Aiken, South Carolina, Orangeburg, these cities suffered catastrophic ice accumulation, trees down everywhere, power out for weeks in some neighborhoods. The National Guard deployed. It was a disaster that took months to fully recover from. And here is what gives me chills. The current setup has eerie similarities to that 2014 event. The same cold air damming east of the mountains, the same overrunning pattern, the same tight gradient between snow and ice. History does not repeat exactly, but it often rhymes. And right now it is rhyming loudly. For those in the impact zone, preparation is not optional. Water, because pipes may freeze and burst. Food that does not require cooking because power may be out for days. Medications, flashlights, batteries, blankets, a way to heat at least one room safely. Check on elderly neighbors. They are the most vulnerable during extended power outages and freezing temperatures. Think about your vehicles. Full tank of gas, emergency kit in the trunk, blankets, water, snacks, phone charger. If you get stranded, these simple items can make the difference between discomfort and danger. And please, when the storm hits, stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary. Every ice storm, emergency rooms fill up with people who thought they could drive on ice. You cannot. Nobody can. Ice is the great equalizer. Community centers across the impact zone should be preparing to serve as warming centers. This is when communities shine. When the power is out and temperatures are dropping, a community center with a generator becomes a beacon of hope. Hot coffee, warm space, friendly faces, support. This is neighbors helping neighbors, meeting practical needs during a crisis. Let me address the modeling. We have the European model, generally considered the gold standard for medium-range forecasting. We have the American GFS model, which has been playing catch-up but is now showing similar signals. We even have artificial intelligence models that initially were too warm but have trended colder to match the traditional models. When multiple independent forecast models converge on the same solution, confidence goes way up, and that is exactly what we are seeing. Different models, different approaches, all saying the same thing. Major winter storm, multi-day duration, widespread impacts from ice and snow. The European model shows the heaviest ice from northeast Texas through Arkansas into Tennessee and down through the Carolinas. The GFS is slightly more suppressed but still shows a significant event. The AI guidance initially was warmer but has corrected colder. All models agree this is real, this is significant, this is happening. Freezing rain accumulation forecasts are sobering, quarter-inch to half-inch widespread across the ice zone, some areas seeing 3/4 of an inch. To put that in perspective, utilities consider a quarter-inch of ice to be a major event. Half-inch is catastrophic. 3/4 of an inch is off the charts, the kind of ice load that brings down entire forests and power grids. Snow totals on the northern edge will be impressive. 6 to 12 inches common across Oklahoma, southern Kansas, northern Arkansas. Some areas could see 15 to 18 inches. This is heavy, wet snow in many locations because temperatures will be close to freezing. Heavy, wet snow is harder to remove and causes more tree damage. Coastal Texas will even see impacts. Houston and Corpus Christi could end with freezing rain Sunday into Monday as the storm finally wraps up. This is extremely rare for these areas. The fact that the storm is large enough and cold enough to bring winter weather this far south tells you everything you need to know about its intensity. Air travel will be a nightmare. Dallas-Fort Worth International, one of the world's busiest airports, will likely shut down for days. Houston, Oklahoma City, Memphis, Nashville, Charlotte, all major hubs, all in the impact zone. Thousands of flights canceled, hundreds of thousands of passengers stranded. If you have travel plans this weekend, seriously reconsider them. Trucking and freight will grind to a halt. Interstate 35, Interstate 40, Interstate 20, all major freight corridors, all in the danger zone. This will have ripple effects on supply chains. Grocery stores may have empty shelves. Deliveries will be delayed. Just-in-time inventory systems will be stressed. The economic impact will be substantial. Lost productivity, storm damage, power restoration costs, emergency services, National Guard deployment if needed. These winter storms can cost billions of dollars when all is tallied. But the real cost is measured in human terms. Lives disrupted, people suffering, communities struggling. Yet here is where we find resilience. Americans have an incredible ability to pull together during crises. Neighbor helping neighbor, communities opening their doors, utility crews working around the clock in brutal conditions to restore power, first responders risking their own safety to help others. This storm will bring out the best in people. These trials test us and often make us stronger. Nobody wants an ice storm, but when it comes, we have a choice. We can complain and despair, or we can stay positive, help our neighbors, and show what we are made of through the challenge. The meteorological dynamics of this storm are fascinating if you are a weather enthusiast. We have that broad upper-level trough funneling cold air southward. We have strong, high pressure at the surface locking in the Arctic air. We have the Baja low providing copious moisture. We have the perfect temperature profile for freezing rain. We have the overrunning pattern for prolonged precipitation. Every ingredient is there for a major event. One interesting feature is the dual cold air sources. The primary source is the main Arctic push from central Canada. But there is also a secondary source from Atlantic Canada that will funnel additional cold air down the eastern slopes of the Appalachians. This cold air damming effect will keep temperatures below freezing across the Carolinas and Georgia, even as milder air tries to push in from the south. You can see this on the pressure maps. High pressure centered over the Great Lakes and New England will force cold air southward along the mountains. At the same time, low pressure to the south and west will pump moisture northward. The isobars, lines of equal pressure, will buckle and pack together, indicating strong winds and intense weather. Wind will be a factor too, especially across the southern plains Saturday. Blizzard conditions are possible in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas. Blowing snow, reducing visibility to near zero. Wind chills dropping temperatures into the single digits. This is dangerous, life-threatening weather for anyone caught outside. Here is what you need to do right now, today, before the storm hits. Charge all devices. Fill bathtubs with water for flushing toilets if pipes freeze. Bring pets inside. Protect outdoor faucets. Know where your flashlights are. Have a battery-powered radio. Make sure you have cash on hand because ATMs and card readers need power. If you have a fireplace, stock up on wood. If you have a generator, test it now, not when the power is already out. Make sure you have fuel and that you know how to operate it safely. Generator safety is critical. Never run a generator indoors or in an attached garage. Carbon monoxide kills, medications are crucial. Make sure you have enough for at least a week, maybe 2. If you have medical equipment that requires power, have a backup plan. Contact your utility company in advance. Many have registries for medically vulnerable customers. Food is important, but do not panic buy. Get sensible items: bread, peanut butter, canned goods, crackers, dried fruit, protein bars, things that do not need refrigeration or cooking. A manual can opener if you are getting canned food. Remember, your refrigerator will stay cold for quite a while without power if you keep the door closed. Stay informed. Have multiple ways to get weather information. Do not rely solely on your smartphone, which will die without power. Have a battery-powered weather radio. Local AM radio stations will broadcast emergency information. Know what county you live in because warnings are issued by county. Understand the difference between a watch and a warning. A winter storm watch means conditions are favorable for significant winter weather within the next 24 to 48 hours. A winter storm warning means significant winter weather is occurring or imminent. Warnings are issued usually 6 to 12 hours before the event. Ice storm warnings are the most serious. These are issued when ice accumulation of a 1/4 inch or more is expected. When you see an ice storm warning, that is your signal to complete all preparations and hunker down. Do not wait. Do not think you have more time. Get ready immediately. Power outages could last days or even weeks in the hardest hit areas. This is not exaggeration. After major ice storms, it can take that long for crews to repair the damage. Trees and power lines down everywhere. Difficult access because roads are impassable. Crews working as fast as they safely can, but ice damage is extensive and repairs take time. Mental preparation matters too. This will be stressful. Cabin fever is real. Plan activities for kids who will be out of school. Board games, books, crafts. Spending time together as a family without screens can actually be a silver lining, though nobody wants it to come through a natural disaster. For those who are alone, check in with neighbors before the storm. Exchange phone numbers. Agree to check on each other. Isolation during a multi-day power outage can be dangerous, especially for the elderly. Community connections save lives. If you lose power and your home becomes too cold, do not try to heat with charcoal grills or camp stoves indoors. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a leading cause of death during winter power outages. If you cannot stay warm safely, go to a warming center. Your pride is not worth your life. The lesson here is clear. We are not in complete control. We like to think we are. We build our houses, plan our lives, assume tomorrow will be like today. Then a storm comes, literally or figuratively, and reminds us of our vulnerability and interdependence. Nature is powerful, and sometimes we need to respect that power and adapt. This storm will pass, the ice will melt, the power will be restored, life will return to normal. But the memories of how we responded, how we loved our neighbors, how we showed resilience, those will remain. Choose to respond with strength, with kindness, with courage. Now here is what is coming next. I will have updated information tonight with the latest model runs. The forecast will continue to be refined as we get closer to the event. Small shifts in the storm track can mean big differences in who gets snow versus ice. Stay tuned for updates. If you found this information helpful, please share it with others in the impact zone. Everybody needs to be aware. Everybody needs to prepare. Your sharing could literally save someone's life. That elderly neighbor who does not use social media, that family member who does not watch weather, reach out, spread the word. Check in with your local community centers. Find out if they have plans to serve as warming centers or distribution points. Volunteer if you are able. This is our moment to show what communities can do when people come together. When the storm hits and people are hurting, they will remember whether we showed up with help and hope. Stay safe. Prepare wisely. Act decisively. And remember, you are not alone in this. We are in this together as communities, as neighbors, as fellow human beings facing a common challenge. The storm is coming, but we will get through it. One day at a time, one challenge at a time, one decision at a time. Keep watching for updates. The situation is evolving. New information is coming in every few hours as models update. What I have shared is based on the most recent data available, but winter storms can shift and change. Stay alert, stay informed, stay prepared. Your safety and the safety of your loved ones depends on it. This is not about fear. This is about smart preparation combined with situational awareness. We have the technology, the forecasting, the community resources to get through this. Pay attention to warnings, take them seriously, use common sense, and lean on your neighbors when needed. The next 72 hours will test many communities across the South, but tests can make us stronger. Challenges reveal what we are made of. Difficulties bring out character. Let this storm reveal the resilience in us, the courage, the compassion, the determination that says, even in the ice and cold, we can handle this together. Stay tuned for evening updates with the latest forecast models and timing details. This storm is historic, and our coverage will continue until the threat has passed. Your preparation today determines your experience tomorrow. Do not wait. Act now, and take care of each other through it all. The science behind this storm is remarkable. The convergence of Arctic air masses, Pacific moisture, and atmospheric dynamics that create the perfect conditions for a multi-day winter disaster. We are witnessing a textbook example of how weather systems interact on a continental scale. Understanding the mechanisms helps us appreciate both the power of nature and the importance of preparation. Emergency management officials across 12 states are coordinating response plans right now, pre-positioning equipment, activating emergency operations centers, preparing shelters, staging utility crews. This is the invisible work that happens before a disaster, the planning and logistics that can make the difference between chaos and managed response. Remember the power of information. What you know can protect you. What you share can protect others. We live in an age where weather forecasting has never been more accurate. 7-day forecasts today are as reliable as 3-day forecasts were 20 years ago. We know this storm is coming. We know approximately when, where, and how severe. That knowledge is power if we use it wisely. Check your insurance coverage. Know what is covered and what is not. Document your property before the storm. Take photos of your home, your vehicles, your belongings. If you suffer damage, this documentation will be invaluable for claims processing. Think about communication. How will you stay in touch with family if cell towers go down? Have a plan. Designate an out-of-state contact that everyone can check in with. Sometimes local calls do not work, but long-distance calls do. Have backup ways to communicate. For businesses, this storm will be a major disruption. If you are a business owner or manager, implement your continuity plan now. Protect inventory, secure property, communicate with employees about expectations, prepare for potential extended closure. The economic ripple effects will be significant. Schools are already making decisions about closures. Many districts will likely shut down for the entire next week in the hardest-hit areas. Parents, plan now for childcare. Stock up on activities to keep kids occupied. This could be an extended break from normal routines. Healthcare facilities are preparing for surge capacity. If you have routine medical appointments scheduled for this weekend or early next week, consider rescheduling now. Emergency rooms need to focus on true emergencies during the storm. Non-urgent care can wait. The human stories that will emerge from this storm will be powerful. Acts of heroism, kindness, sacrifice, utility workers spending days away from their own families to restore power to strangers, neighbors sharing generators, food, warmth, strangers pulling together to help someone stuck in the ice. These stories remind us of the best of humanity, but there will also be tragedy. With an event of this magnitude, there will be fatalities. Car accidents on icy roads, carbon monoxide poisoning from improper generator use, people dying from cold in their homes, heart attacks from overexertion shoveling heavy snow. This is why preparation and caution are so critical. Every life is precious. Every preventable death is one too many. As we wrap up, let me emphasize the key takeaways one more time. This is a historic multi-day winter storm affecting millions of people across the southern United States. Ice accumulation will be catastrophic in many areas. Power outages will be widespread and prolonged. Travel will be impossible. The time to prepare is right now, today, before the storm arrives tomorrow. Get water, food, medications, batteries, flashlights, a way to heat safely, full gas tank, emergency supplies. Check on vulnerable neighbors. Have a plan for communication. Know where warming centers will be located. Take warnings seriously. Stay off the roads when the storm hits. Use generators safely. Be patient with restoration efforts. Help your neighbors. Stay strong. This storm will be a defining moment for many communities. How we respond will be remembered. Preparation, resilience, compassion, these are the qualities that will see us through. The meteorology is fascinating. The impacts will be severe, but human spirit is stronger. Together, we will weather this storm and come out the other side. Final updates will come tonight. Share this information widely. Prepare thoroughly. Stay safe. And remember, tough times do not last, but tough people do. We have got this. See you tonight with the latest models and forecast updates. Until then, prepare.